of Regiment. Tatiana Kharkov is the sister of Sergei Volinsky, commander of the 36th Marine Brigade, and Marina Kraftsover, wife of the commander of Vedmedi Squad within Azov Regiment. Last week, 144 our soldiers, heroes, were returned back home as part of the prisoner swap carried out by our authorities and the Chief Intelligence Directorate. 95 of those were Mariupol defenders, those who were defending physically Azovstal. So, Tatiana, back to you. Good afternoon. I am Tatiana Kharkov. I am sister of Sergei Volinsky, acting commander of the 36th Separate Marine Brigade that was standing strong to defend Azovstal in Mariupol. Today, I speak to you as a member of Azovstal Defenders Families Association, which was established a month ago. We did a lot, and you can learn more on our social media and our official website. The major achievement being that we managed to be present at the prisoner swap, at the very first one, when we received the first batch of Azovstal defenders. Let me share with you how it happened. Never in my life could I imagine that I will have to meet people who just returned back from imprisonment. On June the 29th, 144 servicemen returned back to Ukraine. Of them, 95 were defenders of Azovstal, true heroes. The predominant majority of the militaries have heavy wounds. Some of them won't be able to embrace a loved one because they have no arms. Others won't be able to run with their kids because they have their legs. Others won't be able to see the peaceful sky after our victory because defending us, they gave their eyes. But each and every one of them have the heart left, the heart that needs love and care, while bodies need medical care. The emotions that I witnessed at that time could not be described in mere words. You need to see it, you need to feel it. All the boys are exhausted and emaciated, but still you can feel that they're happy because they're back home. Right now, all of them have been sent to the hospitals. The government needs to make sure that their health would be restored. The society wants to know whether our soldiers have been tortured in captivity. Well, we are not responding to this question because the safety of our soldiers who are still imprisoned, that's whom we need to think about. Our soldiers, when they're ready for this, will share themselves what happened to them. Before that, we ask us to take care of our soldiers and not just to entertain their curiosity. I ask the journalists to respect the emotions of boys and girls coming from the captivity. What they need is physical and psychological rehabilitation. Let's respect their personal space. The time will come and they will share everything and will share this information through official media channels. I would also like to share thanks for this prisoner swap for President Zelensky, to the Chief Military Intelligence Directorate, to the General Staff, to each and every person who made it our heroes possible for our heroes to come back home. I know that there are lots of people who do a lot but don't speak about this. So this swap has been an important result as is, but that's only the beginning of this road. Lots of other heroes need assistance. They need to be liberated. They need to be back home as soon as possible. We hope that our president and the coordination headquarters will spare no efforts. We hope and believe in this. While meeting with our heroes, I talked to a boy who told me that my brother, Sergei Volina, saved his life. Frankly speaking, I didn't even know how to react to such words. I was looking into his eyes, trying to curb my tears back. I am confident that we'll learn more stories like this because each defender of Azovstal is a true hero. They've been saving each other and they've been saving us. I believe and hope that our authorities and all of us will never forget what Azovstal defenders did, and thus will make sure that we save them all. Thank you. Marina, can you tell us what do we know about our defenders, men and women who are still in captivity? Hello, I am Marina Kraftsover. I am wife of the Alexander Kravtsov, commander of Vedmedia squad that were defending the city of Mariupol and Azovstal planned from day one of this full-fledged invasion. For quite a while, they were believed to be dead, but they're alive and they are still part of the Azov regime. Now they're all being held in captivity. I talked to my husband the last time when they were leaving Azovstal. Afterwards, I've seen some of his pictures where I can see that he feels thin and gaunt. I could hardly recognize him. This is the result of 3 months of defense of Mariupol. Now he is facing new challenges. I cannot even imagine what's the state of my husband now. The statements that are being made on videos have been coerced. We should not react to such enemies' provocations because we need to recognize that it's the enemy who speaks through the mouths of our heroes. Also, through enemy sources, it's known that Vedmedi squad stays separately in an unknown location. The future fate of my husband and his soldiers is unknown to me. I don't know where they are. I don't know what their health state is. I don't know whether they're being provided the needed medical assistance. There is information that the case on Vedmedia squad has been sent to the Donetsk Breakaway Republic court, and that the prosecution would ask for capital punishment. The world observes it, but keeps enact. I cannot understand how the terrorists in the 21st century could litigate against people, defenders of their lands, of seniors, of women and children. So we want the world community to react to this. Also, in compliance with the Geneva Convention, the relatives of all prisoners of war have right to know the location of each soldier and have the right for correspondence at least twice a week. As of today, it's 6 weeks since I received the information about my husband, like relatives of all of the Ukrainian soldiers who are currently being imprisoned in Russia. Ukraine sticks to all of the Geneva Convention commitments in respect of the Russian prisoner of wars at the territory of Ukraine. We hope that our counterparts will do the same, comply with the human rights, and finally will allow the Red Cross monitoring mission to come and see with their own eyes what is the state of our defenders now. Back to Katerina. Katya, let's talk about the assistance of international organizations in freeing our heroes. Good afternoon. I am Katarina Prokopenka, wife of Denis Prokopenka, commander of Azov Regiment. Our today's war is not the war of two countries, it's the war of two worlds. The barbarism against humanity, the knowledge against ignorance, civilization against darkness. Being the light of civilization is a high responsibility. We need to stick to the laws and we want to live in peace and comfort with each other. That's why in thousands of years we had lots of rules of behavior and enforcement mechanisms like Geneva Convention that protects the rights of the prisoners of war. Ukraine built special camps for Russian prisoners while keeping the bodies of Russian soldiers' corpses in refrigerators. And there are organizations that are supposed to enforce such requirements. That's why the Red Cross is involved like it did before in other wars. The work of the Red Cross is being characterized as quiet diplomacy to negotiate with both sides. Thus, the organization stays neutral, staying on the side of the prisoners of war. So, civil war in Yemen, which lasts for 7 years, the Red Cross happened to arrange many prisoner swaps. In each case, Red Cross has to make the decision. Back in 1942, the Red Cross has prepared the statement that criticized the prosecution of the Jews, but then it refused to publish it because it didn't want to lose access to 2.5 million prisoners of wars of allies. After the end of the World War II, which I was compared to, the International Committee on Red Cross received the Nobel Peace Prize. At that time, the organization had spotless reputation for dozens of years to come. But today, unfortunately, I haven't heard the voice of Denis for almost 6 weeks now. I don't know where he is, whether he's been taken care of. Wasn't he exposed to tortures? For 3 months, he and his soldiers were defending Mariupol. He delivered on his commitment. Now we need to deliver on our own to save his life and the life of his brothers and law defenders of Azovstal and Mariupol. If only that would be the war between two civilized countries, this press conference would have no need, because according to Geneva Connections, I would regularly learn from Red Cross or Denis himself that everything is okay with him. But our enemy is cynical. In his eyes, our rules are our weaknesses, lies, terrorism, killings. That's the tool set of our enemy. I am afraid that if we keep mum about this, if we are waiting for happy end silently, if we just want to rely on soft diplomacy alone, we'll lose. We need all of the existing rules and mechanisms that will help us to move this war for Mariupol garrison. So far we managed to bring the boys from Azovstal, and I am ready to resort to the same tools to help to return our boys and girls back home, and thus helping me to get back to pre-war life with Denis. I talked to my husband before they left Azovstal. I asked a lot of questions. What would happen when he would be in captivity in the hands of the enemy? He said, according to the convention, there should be regular communication with the relatives, in ideal through video conference. You've seen it yourselves, how we give this opportunity to the Russian prisoners of war, but they don't give it to ours. Twice a week, a Red Cross representative should monitor the state of health, the conditions, and absence of tortures. They were promised this. These were the conditions when they left. Well, so far, nothing has been done for this. The Red Cross hasn't called almost everyone after the liberation. As to the second condition, well, I have my doubts. But after the last interview of Tyra, when she talked about atrocious treatment of women. Well, why do we have Geneva Convention if there is no enforcement mechanism to make it viable? So does the Red Cross monitor the execution of this convention? Our Association of the Families of the Azovstal Defenders was established to share the importance of this topic to the Western media, which don't need to be afraid of the terrorists. Our idea came to us after the meeting with Pope of Rome on the 11th of May this year. Now we work with the coordination headquarters with Human Rights Foundation that support us and consult us. We have a broad spectrum of information work to draw attention to our prisoners of war. We conduct photo exhibitions, presentations, flash mobs, sports competitions, active media coverage, and stories about heroic warriors. Recently, we established the funds that will help the destitute households of the deceased soldiers of Azovstal. We asked the journalists, we asked the whole civilized world not to forget about our soldiers, to reminds everyone that the Geneva Convention should be observed, that the international organizations should help bring our heroes back home. The situation around Azovstal Defenders is not standard. We all recognize that, and we all know that there are no issues that could not be resolved. We urge the Red Cross to find a non-standard solution and thus allow them to visit the location where our warriors are being kept. Don't forget them. We need to fight for the dignity of our soldiers. Glory to Ukraine, glory to defenders of Mariupol, glory to Azovstal Defenders, glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. Colleagues, you can ask your questions, raise your hands, and please use a mic. Svetlana, please introduce yourselves. Nina Todova, Kyiv TV channels. Question to Ms. Prokopenka. We have very little information about where the soldiers are being kept. The only source for us are Russian media, and they claim that some of the soldiers are in Alenivka, some of the wounded are in Novazovsk, and according to other information, all the commanders are being kept in Lefortovo pre-trial detention facility in Moscow. So could your husband be tried, which would make it difficult for him to come back to Ukraine? Yeah, we have this information. We cannot confirm this information because we haven't received information from the Red Cross about the accurate location of our boys. There is different information. Some sources claim one location where our boys are being kept. Others mention other locations. So we constantly keep asking questions. Where are they? What are they doing? How are they being treated, etc. For the time being, we don't know where the commanders are being kept. Preliminary, through enemy mass media, we know that it could be Lefortovo, but it's not been confirmed yet. As to the courts, well, you know what? It's not well understood to me how can they try Ukrainian soldiers who are citizens of Ukraine, how they could be tried at the territory of other country. For what? That's an unclear question. But on the other hand, it's just a show. Russia needs to feed its TV audience with some theatrics. So it might be a mock trial, if you will, but all of our soldiers are Ukrainians, born in Ukraine, defending Ukraine. They've never attacked other country. They never killed civilians of other countries. I don't even know what they could be tried for. That's just pure Russian propaganda and Russian way of running warfare to feed domestic audience with such mock trial information. I don't see the reason to stress over this. They will all be returned. I believe in this. We'll be fighting for each and every one who is being in captivity now. So there is no sense to be worried about this. Pavlo Kovalchuk, UNN. First of all, I would like to thank you for your resilience. You're a great example for standing strong. Thank you. So the question is to you, Katerina, about the prisoner swap. Of those 95 Azovstal defenders, there was only one woman. How come? Can you try and think and look into the thoughts of orcs? Why are they not swapping our women?
Жінки в першу чергу обміну, то вони обов'язково потраплять.
Service women will be in the second and next waves of prisoner swap. It's the military intelligence that is involved in this. We're not asking them. This is confidential information. We don't know what sort of negotiations they have with the enemy. But what I am confident in, sooner or later, all of them will come back home. When exactly, we don't know, because this would be the results of the direct negotiations. Further questions, please? Ukrinform, Victoria Shevchenka. My question is this. Do you know the approximate number of Azovstal defenders who are still being kept in captivity? About 2,500. That's what President Zelensky said, the defenders of Azovstal, defenders of Mariupol. So you can, well, so far 95 of those 2,500 have been returned, but we'll bring everybody back home. Channel 24, I have a question to Katarina Kraftsover. On June the 15th, Russia showed video where you can see 4 defenders, one of them your husband, others published videos. Are we aware what's happening with other soldiers of Vedmedya squad? And looking at the pictures of your husband, could you see any signs of tortures? Because during the interview of fiancé of Steiner, soldier, she said that her boyfriend had the upper teeth pulled out. So what happened with your husband? Well, thank you for your questions. As to the first one, on the information about other soldiers of Vedmedya squad, no information about them. They haven't been communicating with their relatives after that. On the videos, we only saw pictures of 3 people, and one of the soldiers, you could see that physical force has been applied against him. And we have no information about the others. As to my husband, I have seen only one picture, which was published a couple of days after he was captured. I couldn't see any visual, tangible signs of torture, but the fact that he was in the very difficult state of health, that was quite obvious. He was quite sick when he was captured, so that's exactly why it's important for the Red Cross to receive the response about his state of health, whether he is being provided the needed health care. Thank you. More questions? You claim that you don't know the location because Red Cross doesn't get it from the from the Russian authorities. What about the Ukrainian military intelligence data? Probably the Ukrainian intelligence has more information on this. All the information that our intelligence and our authorities possess stays confidential. So the only type of information that we could rely on is what would come from the third party, in this case the Red Cross International Committee, which by international law should be there, should monitor the state of health of our soldiers, and who should force the enemy to allow our soldiers to communicate with their relatives. Thank you. More questions, please? Are you aware about Hospital 505? The relatives say that the bomb was dropped on that hospital in Mariupol, and some of the medics went to Azovstal, others went to Ilyicha plant. There's no information about them. Do you know anything about those people? No, we're not aware about them. Again, we are waiting for the official statement from our authorities, from the military intelligence officers. That's the question to them, so we'll all be waiting for official responses from them. Thanks a lot. I would like to thank you for joining us. I would like to thank you for your resilience and indomitability. We are all proud of you and your fight, and we join it. And I would also like to thank you, the journalists, for helping to talk the truth about this war, for talking about the resistance of the Ukrainian people. Thank you, and glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes.